This is Drop and Drop Out, the weekly podcast where a mix of gamers come together to talk all about video games. I'm your host, Patrick, and dropping in this week, the homie Jake Twitchin. Jake, how we doing?
I'm doing so well. Impulsive join of I really dropped in on this podcast. Actually,
you really did. In the pre-show, it was just me, Jordan, and Quentin, aka Blaster Goblin, and you were like, I was like, he was like, we were like, and then you were here.
Yeah, it's
Very
awesome.
Good. Very good. Also dropping in this week, Cognitive Clips, aka Jordan. Jordan, how you doing?
Hello, doing great. Good to be here.
Oh, I love that. And rounding out our quartet, it is Blaster Goblin week here at dropinDropoutPod.com. So, of course, Blaster Goblin has returned. Quentin, welcome back to the show. How are you today?
Oh, I'm doing great. I love making things about me.
Yeah? I think
Somehow,
if we were
Blaster Goblin
tracking
returned.
the amount of appearances for guests, I think you're like maybe tied in first now.
Really?
Potentially in first, now that Spotlight is a Dido podcast and it's on Dido, and because you were there on Tuesday, I don't know that anyone's been here more than twice if we're counting Spotlight, and you've been here thrice now. So,
Let's bump those numbers up so nobody takes it from me.
Let's bump it up. Louder! Tonight we're going to be talking all about remakes and remasters, the good, the bad, the ugly, and we're going to rank them too. Maybe what are the best remakes? What are the best remasters? What makes them different from each other, from themselves, everything and in between. But before we do any of that, I do have some quick housekeeping. Earlier this show, over on One More Game, over at JK Games Podcast, also in the Drop In, Drop Out family of podcasts, they wrapped up Life is Strange Reunion, the finale, covering and giving their full review of the game, which is out now on YouTube over on JK Games Podcast's YouTube channel. So very good. And then next week, they're going to be doing an OG episode of JK Games, not an episode of One More Game. So make sure you're there on Monday night for that. And also, I'm going public with this. The ink is like wet. So the ink has gone down, but it isn't dry. But the next night, next week, I am so fucking excited to announce that on Spotlight Games podcast, the CEO of fucking Backyard Baseball, Lindsay Barnett, coming on the show for an interview about the series' revival and about the game that is launching on July 9th. Very fucking excited for that. So please, I hope to see you in the chat on Tuesday when we interview Lindsay, the CEO. And I got Pablo back there already. Oh man, I'm gonna fucking geek out. I'm so excited. So that's very, very good.
I thought you were going to announce that it was Pablo Sanchez coming on.
I wish. God, I wish. The GOAT? Are you kidding me? Do we have to behave? No, I don't think we have to behave. I think it would be in our best interests to be exactly who we are on Tuesday. In my opinion. We just can't say the things that we don't say here because we're good people. And then final piece of housekeeping. Earlier this week, Jordan, who is currently below me,
That's me.
did a little review with Jerica about Replaced. And might I suggest you listen to the podcast version and not the YouTube version, because the podcast version, edited. YouTube version, not edited. But Jordan, how was that? How's that going for you, that game?
I unfortunately have not had a chance to pick it back up since the recording, but little light spoiler, very hot on it so far. I got about 3-ish hours deep before we recorded. And yeah, I'm digging it a lot so far. Can't wait to pick it back up.
Yeah, I need to pick it back up as well. But yeah, so that's what's going on in the world of Drop In, Drop Out Pod. Actually, I also want to plug CNC Island, Jake. Talk to us about your Tamagotchi live streams, because they're so fun.
I could do an hour and a half on this, but yeah, if you have time at any point in the future, find Jake twitching on some fucking platform. Honestly, you'll find me if you just go through Dido. You guys have done a good job of sharing some of like the stories and whatnot. This game is so fucking good, and we have created as a bit of a hive mind one of the funniest, most like layered islands of characters that are all original content. You don't need to know anything about pop culture. You just need to get in and enjoy the ride. It is a fantastic game, and it is very, very fucking funny.
It's truly worth the click. Watching Jake stream Tomodachi Life, living the dream. Very, very good shit. But hey, that's not why we're here, right? We're not here to talk about Tomodachi Life, although I'm sure a bonus pod is in our near future about that game. Tonight we're talking about remakes. We're talking about remasters. This is a vibey show. We're going to just see where the conversation takes us, but we are going to end the show with a science-based ranking because, you know, I love ranking shit. So I figured let's just like kind of go around the horn to start and just kind of just get our feet wet a little bit with this conversation about remakes, remasters, what we like about them. Maybe if somebody wants to maybe kind of dive into the differences between them, if they're drawn to one another, like we could kind of take this in any direction right now. And what I see in front of me is opportunity, Jordan, to pick a lane and just fucking barrel down. Isn't that right?
It is.
So yeah, Jake, now that you didn't know about this topic until like 3 minutes ago and you're here, what do you think about remakes and remasters?
I love a good remake and a remaster. I am the type of person who will not go back once a game is like giving me a better option for it as far as like playing goes. Like I tried to get into Wind Waker on the virtual console recently, and I was like, okay, well, we're just gonna go back and play the Wii U HD version if we do like a full playthrough of this. But generally, yeah, I'm all for a nice coat of paint on my favorite games, and there are versions of old games that I just don't even play anymore. And if I was looking at my top 10 games of all time, and basically my go-to version of all of those games are their updated remasters if they are available to me. There's none that I am like, there's none that I am loyal to in their original form. That
makes sense. It's funny you bringing up Wind Waker. That is one I will talk about tonight. That is like I kind of feel like it. I'm getting ahead of myself. I kind of feel like it's maybe a remake, but we'll talk about it. Quentin, aka Blaster Goblin. When I say remake, when I say remaster, first thing that pops in your head, go.
Oh, it's always Resident Evil.
It's always right. They're kind of the kings.
They own it now.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite of those?
Of the remakes? Oh, it's got to be 4.
It's got to be
because 4 was my like favorite game of all time, and then they remastered it, and now I'm in this situation where I'm like, I can't choose between my kids. I love them both equally, and they're both perfect, and nothing is better than them.
Sure. Historically, Jordan, do you tend to prefer one to the other, a remaster or a remake?
Not necessarily. I just kind of. Well, should I go ahead and like drop some criteria for myself?
You can drop whatever you want, dude. This is drop in, drop out, okay?
It is. It's in the name, guys. My preference it's not necessarily when I'm thinking of good versus bad. It's not remake versus remaster. It kind of comes more down to in my second ever video essay. This is what I kind of broke it down to as far as like what I think is a good one. There's got to be some sort of actual time between the original and the remake. Don't give me this Last of Us remastered 1 year after the fact.
Wow,
like that,
whoa.
Hey,
You're
I didn't say part 1.
Thin ice here.
I didn't say part 1, Dad. I just said that the original remaster from like PS3 to PS4. That was like, okay, congratulations, you brought it to a new console, and then nothing else changed.
Looks better.
I also like when they bring something new to the table. Sometimes that is just updating the graphics. Sometimes it is actually adding in some new features. It's always a plus. And then also the price. If they're gonna, that can kind of vary depending on how much they add. Like if they really like Resident Evil 4, if they actually like just ground up remake it and then they want to charge a full price, cool. If it is a little bit like fewer bells and whistles, but it's a new platform or an updated graphic style, like I kind of would prefer them to not charge full price for that kind of a thing. I mean, like my, me and my Metroids, like Prime remastered, $40 for like an excellent remaster. So those are kind of like my 3 biggest things when I'm deciding like if I actually am gonna want to go for this or not, or where I'm gonna rank it tonight later on. Those are the kind of criteria that I look for.
I like that. I like this idea of like, because we all know, if you're listening to this podcast, you follow video games more than the average bloke, right? And so they're everywhere. They surround us. Like at any given moment, there is a release of a new remaster or a remake or that like weird in between. Like it's a little bit of both. It's this kind of like gray area, and because they sell. Like that, people want them. People want a better way to play Assassin's Creeds 2, Brotherhood, and Revelations is the other one in the Ezio trilogy. Because it's like, why would I want to boot up original hardware? But then part of it is the price thing. Like when you said that, I thought about Horizon Zero Dawn. And Jake, if he wasn't 7, he'd say, "You mean Horizon Zero Fun?" And I'd say, "Fuck you."
Horizon Forbidden Fun.
But that one, like, I'm excited now that that's dropping on PS Plus this month because I wasn't gonna spend fucking $60 on that game because that was one of the few games that I ever had physically back in the day, and my PS5 doesn't have a disc drive, so I would have had to pay fucking full price. And it's like, I do like when they have like the $10 upgrade situation, whether it's a remaster or a remake. But it really does. The price is a really big thing for me. Is it for you, Jake?
Yeah, for sure. I think availability is everything. I think you make a very good point with Horizon individually, where if I was really itching to play Horizon with the PS4 to PS5 jump, I wouldn't be able to rationalize an additional cost. And if I went on PlayStation Plus and the PS4 version was available to me, I would just play that even with the PS5 version available. I think that's asking too much, but I think some people are realizing that. I think when you look at, like, we judge The Last of Us remaster for the PS4 very harshly, which I think it's the naming convention that got them.
Sure.
Right? Like, they just should have called it The Last of Us. Is what they would have done, and then just put it on, the next generation console, because it was within a year or two.
It was
very
soon.
quick.
Yeah.
It was. I can't remember if it was within a year, but it was definitely like the next calendar year from the original release for sure.
Yeah, it was definitely 2014 for sure.
But these days, if you would look at that comparison, it would be more like a Tears of the Kingdom Nintendo Switch 2 edition, as far as like time frame and just kind of like, here, 10 smackaroos, or it's included with the subscription pass. If you're going to play one of the best Nintendo Switch games on the Nintendo Switch 2, you got a couple bells and whistles here, and that's I think a very reasonable ask.
Mm-hmm.
I'm surprised at this point it's not more.
Ooh, I just lost you.
Yeah.
Okay,
Link,
I'm good. I'm
the
glad
remake.
that you said something because I was freaking out.
Just hit that whole thing. I'm surprised.
I'm surprised. Oh no, is my internet all fucked?
No, you're
little
good.
bit.
Sounds good now. It was, though.
Okay. I'm surprised that it isn't more universal across the board now, that there isn't more of like a rule set that we all agree upon. Because I think about, is it really bad again? Is that why Jordan's laughing?
No, your statement is what I'm sorry. I'm laughing at your statement. 'Cause
No,
I'm like,
you're
yeah,
fine.
that's true.
I just
Like,
want to make
there's
sure because what I see in my fucking scene is so fucked. So I just want to make sure. But Ratchet and Clank is what I'm trying to talk about on the PS4. Launched at $40, full remake of the original game, but only $40. But then you look at something like Days Gone, which is basically just a remaster for like $60. That is, it's like what are we doing here? Like I don't understand that after so long we still don't even have like an agreed upon pricing structure. But then you look at Oblivion, that was also $39.99. It's like, why is nothing ever the same across the board? It fucking drives me nuts.
And I just
Does anybody else have that experience?
kind of I can't hear anyone bring up Oblivion without just pointing out how, like, Bethesda left in all the same bugs from 20 years ago because it's charming, and it's like, you didn't fix anything, man. Like, come on.
Correct.
For sure.
Correct.
Yeah. I think that is bad. Even if we look at the Zelda example, it's specifically bad even on its most, like, if you have the most opportunity to get it right, it would be within the same company. So Nintendo charging $10 for some and $20 for other, you end up with situations where Donkey Kong Bonanza as a Switch 2 experience is $70, but fucking Kirby is $80 because it's a remaster with like the added content bundled in. So you're blurring these lines, and the prices are inconsistent between what a Switch 2 version or what a remastered version of this previous generation game could be.
Yeah. How
Blurred
much was the
lines,
Donkey Kong DLC? Would that put it above the Kirby? I can't remember.
No,
20?
I think it might have been $10.
No, I think it was
15?
$19.99. I'm pretty sure it was 20.
There's no way. Okay,
I'm
you
pretty
keep
sure.
going. You
Yeah.
podcast. I'm on
Yeah,
it.
I'll podcast. Blaster Goblin, I want to bring you back in. So you had sent us a document, or at least you sent it to me. I don't know if anyone else
did.
looked at this document. Remind me who wrote this document?
Oh, this is my friend Ryan. He is
Shout out
my
to Ryan.
podcast co-host and unpaid producer that is fixing all of my problems all the time and sending me stuff that he worked hard on, and I just get to butcher and turn into other stuff.
First of all, W. Ryan. But second of all, so the way that he built this document out is so fascinating to me. He does it like by generation. So 5th gen, 6th gen, et cetera, et cetera. But there was one that really stood out to me, and it's the Mafia series that has kind of done all of them, where we got the first game completely remade, basically from the ground up. the second game just got like some like asset updating. We got back like but brought up to like 1080p, that kind of thing. And then the third game basically just got like ported to the next set of consoles. So it's like this franchise that is over the years, it's just been here around for so long, and they've remade or re-released all of them, that it kind of like went down each lane of re-release, remaster, and remake. Now the re-release is not necessarily one that we're talking about as much today. But the Mafia 1 remake, a very good remake. If anyone hasn't played that,
That's
like
fantastic.
It's such a good remake. Like, and it's the kind of thing like what Jake was saying earlier. Why would I ever touch the original game ever again? Because the first game is good enough and like really good, or the remake of the first game, that I would just do that. Jake, did you do your research?
Yeah.
What'd you get?
$20.
$20. I've
Sucks.
never been wrong. Not a single time. Not a single time. Here's a question about remakes and remasters. What do we think and feel about their ability to be nominated for awards, Jordan?
I think it can kind of depend on the scale of it. Like, when it came to Resident Evil 4, I like our dear friend Quentin. Probably my favorite of the series, except, well, that's kind of cheating actually, because I think it's the only one I've actually rolled credits on. So nix that.
I thought you were going to say it was the only one you've played.
But I really enjoy. I've played several. I've played 0 and 1 and 4. But I don't think I ever rolled credits on 0 or 1, and that was like a long time ago. Not much, apparently. But like the way that they changed around some of the story structure and added new scenes, and of course like completely rebuilt the assets, kind of reworked Ashley's character. They changed so much that it really was a brand new experience. And I think that when a game goes through that much effort, then it can kind of stand alone when it comes to like Game of the Year conversations or other things. Now, I'm also not a Silent Hill knower. To my knowledge, I believe what people were saying was that the Silent Hill 2 remake was pretty beat for beat for the original. And when it comes to those kinds, it's not to say that they didn't put forth a great effort. That's not the conversation. But I think when it comes to an actual like overall Game of the Year thing, like a game of the Game Awards type of show, maybe leave that out. Maybe, I don't know, Jeff, bring back the remakes and remasters category that was there for like 1 or 2 years at the very beginning, then nixed for some reason.
It is weird that they don't have that still, and it hasn't come back with the volume of games that come out each year in this category.
Yeah.
That's
my stance.
I feel like I always have to be thrown to because I'm afraid to like talk over people.
No, jump in.
These.
Talk over.
I'm gonna do a minor plug here.
You can
at the
talk
same
over
time,
anybody
because
if you want
I
to.
did a whole video essay on this topic that we talked about beforehand. And basically the whole concept of that was the difference between the remake and the remaster. And I think because people say the wrong thing all the time.
Yeah.
The big thing is that like people call Bluepoint a remake studio. Bluepoint has never remade a single thing. They're just remastering stuff all the time. They're taking the same thing, they're making it look better.
Sure.
When it comes to awards, I don't think you can do that with like a remaster. I don't think you should give a remaster an award. Last of Us Remastered, why would you give that an award? It's the same thing again. It doesn't deserve anything the next year. But if it's an actual remake, like you're saying with Resident Evil, that should go there. But I think people need to figure out the category a little better of what they're calling it before you can like make a decision on what you're giving an award to.
I think we'll never get like a straight answer on all of this because it's always going to vary so much. And this is an argument that we've also had on the podcast before about like, okay, well, then what do we do about Final Fantasy VII Remake and Rebirth? Like those are really good examples of like, ooh, those games are fleshed out and stand on their fucking own. So it's like if they can hang, they can hang. And like, not to bury the lead a little bit here, but like I'm gonna be pretty gung ho about Metal Gear Solid 3 Delta. But that game I think stands on its own, but it is too similar to work its way into a Game of the Year nomination. And even on my personal list, barely cracked the top 10 because I wanted to give it an honorable mention because I kind of credited it accordingly. So I think we never get an actual spot where everybody agrees on this. Sure. And more, it just kind of works itself out. Like if it has the stuff and it's like done correctly, then it seems like gamers are kind of categorizing it correctly more often than not if given the opportunity to do so. Credit to Keely's panel those 2 years that he did it. It looked right.
Sure. I mean, it's reminiscent to me of the adaptation conversation in like TV and film, of video games. It's like Last of Us going to HBO. So many people up in arms about in the first season, especially of like decisions being made, characters being left out, things not being done the same way, etc. And like this will probably, I'm sure there's a record of me somewhere being like, why didn't you just do it the way that it was done before? But I feel like it is a more interesting choice, even if you don't like the choice, to when you're remaking something or adapting something, to inject something new into it. Because like otherwise, why? Right? It's like why? Like what makes, unless it's just for money, which so much of the arts these days is about that. Is just like how can we make a quick buck with a remake, or in Hollywood especially, of like, oh, let's just like do GoldenEye again. They haven't done that, but that'd be a great idea. This idea
They did
of like,
GoldenEye
again.
I don't know. Just on
with
the
Daniel
Wii.
Craig.
Oh no, I meant in Hollywood. Sorry, I was mixing.
Right.
Yeah, that was a bad mixed metaphor. But just this idea of like, I would like to see Resident Evil 4, a great fucking example. It is like 90% the same game, maybe even 95% the same game. But there's that 5 or 10% of just like a little bit of extra zhuzh in there that feels new, is new, and changes the formula a little bit. Otherwise, it's like, yeah, like what's the point? I guess is kind of what I'm getting at here.
Yeah. Like when it comes to like game of the year conversations, like, so for me personally, 2023, a banner year. If you want to talk about last week's conversation, a banner year for video games, 2023.
Yeah.
Tears of the Kingdom, my favorite game of all time at this point. My number 2 for the year for my own personal list was the Metroid Prime Remaster. Sure. But I do agree that was not and should not have been like on a major outlets, like award show for just a general game of the year, because it was like 99.9% similar to the GameCube release, just they worked their asses off to make it look even better. Like, it's one of the best looking games on the Switch, even though it came out in 2023. And they updated some assets, some like character models and things were updated, but like there's nothing new to the story, nothing like that to actually make it stand up and actually be a remake. So like remastered was, for once on the box, the correct term to use in that case. But then you compare it to, this may or may not come up later. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. When they remade Metroid 2 for 3DS, like that actually was not only built from the ground up and a whole new in the 3DS style, but they added new boss fights. They added a whole like epilogue to it. So that actually did, like you're saying with Resident Evil 4, like there was enough added there that if that were to come up in a conversation like that, then it should be considered, because it changed so much that it wasn't just a coat of paint. It was an actual addition.
Yeah, because also like going back to the Metal Gear Solid 3 conversation, it's funny that like the opening of that game is still the same credits. Like it's still saying like these are the people that made the game, because those are the people that made the game. There's just also another team that is now lifted it, gave it a facelift, and all of these kinds of things, and added in some new geometry and shit like that. But it's pretty much the exact same game, even like the same little. I mean, Oblivion, as you were saying earlier, Jordan, the worst of them, of like it even has like the same bugs. Like it is just the exact same code. But
they call it charm because
Yeah.
Todd Howard can get away with it, but
yeah,
it's not charm. It's not charm, Todd.
it's not charm set. It's not charm. Blaster Goblin, as someone who has done a video essay about it, because Jordan hasn't.
Yeah, it's my thing. My original
It's
idea.
your thing. It's definitely your thing. Hashtag let Gob host. Now that's something, Batgirl. Welcome.
I'm trying to get it going.
Trying to get it going.
Hi, bad girl.
What are we missing right now in terms of this conversation of remakes versus remasters? Because as you said in your video essay, you're talking about like what is the difference between them. We've like kind of covered that here, but just at a high level, like what, before we start getting into the ranking conversation, because that's where I want to be. What else is on your heart, if anything, about remakes and remasters? I'm really just putting you on the spot here.
Yeah, that's okay. I can vamp and make it work. I think really when it comes to remasters, you really got to have like a purpose for it.
Sure.
Like we kind of talked about that a little bit earlier with Last of Us, like coming out a year later. I feel like something like Crash Bandicoot and Spyro, when they did those remasters, Destroy All Humans, all these games that are just like left behind on consoles that you can't buy copies of these anymore. I feel like a remaster of those, not even a port, because they suck. You mentioned Wind Waker earlier on Switch, how it's like the OG like GameCube version.
Yeah.
I also tried to play that earlier, and I was like, I remember this game being awesome, and then I was like, the camera doesn't function at all.
It's tough.
We need a remaster like immediately, and apparently there is one. I didn't know HD was that.
Yeah, on
It had
Wii U.
that.
Oh man. Oh.
It's gonna be on the list.
The Wii U ran right past me until like 3 months ago when I got one.
Nice.
And I only got it 'cause somebody pulled one out of a trash can, and they were like, "Hey, you want this?" And I was like, "Absolutely,
I'm sorry. You have a trash can Wii U?
absolutely, yeah."
Does it
Because
work?
he gave me it, and I was like, "Hey, there's a password on this. How do I get in?" And he's like, "I have no idea. I saw somebody throw it away, and I grabbed it." And I was like, "Well, isn't that just an
Dumpster
explanation
goblin.
of what the Wii U is?" Like that's
That
its
is so
legacy right
crazy.
there.
So
in a
can you
text
get
message.
into it or no?
Yeah, I got into it.
Or fucking buy Wind Waker HD now.
I mean, I probably
Buy?
could. I'll go for it.
You have to be physical, I'm guessing.
It
but,
is.
yeah.
It is the Wind Waker Wii U.
No,
Like,
it's
that one.
not.
Yeah.
I'll give you $150 for it.
Here's how quality it is. The plug on top to charge it doesn't function, so I had to buy a dock to sit it on there to charge it that way.
That's tough.
But once I got there, boy, I could get into it.
I've talked about this on the podcast before, or at least on Spotlight. In college, the anguish I had over deciding whether or not to buy the Zelda Wind Waker Wii U and never doing it, and to this day still regretting it because that shit's expensive to try to buy in 2026. Jake, don't tell me that's the one you have too, because I know you have a Wii U over there.
No, I got a launch day 32 gigabyte black Wii
White?
U.
Oh, black. Okay.
Yeah,
You
I think
were,
it's 32.
You were saying if it's black,
Yes.
it's 32. You were saying buy. Are you suggesting that he steal everything on his Wii U?
Yeah, I fear I am. Every other fucking podcast is like, I don't know if I would. You should probably just steal it.
Is that right?
Don't tell Steve.
Just throw allegedly in front of it, and you're fine. That's what everybody else does.
That's so true.
I'm playing a character on the podcast.
Now,
Okay.
The other thing I wanted to touch on with remasters or remakes is how do you feel about the idea of remaking another remake? Like in the case of the rumor of Resident Evil 1 coming up, everybody's saying there's going to be another remake, maybe like all the other ones they've got going on, even though it's already been remade once before. So then we have 3 completely separate different versions of the same game.
I support that.
You do.
I do.
I think for me, it comes down to my bullet point about time, because that remake was on the GameCube, which is now, what, 3-4 generations ago? So it's like, there's no way to really play that one unless you held on to that thing and it still functions, and you have a functioning...
They've remastered it, so like you
Yeah.
can play it. On all
Oh,
current
that's
consoles.
right. Okay, I
It's a
forgot.
remake
Okay.
that's been remastered to be remade
But,
again.
but now the question is, will they
It's a
remake the
remake,
remake?
remaster sandwich.
Which in this case, I support it because right before Requiem, I put about 10. No, that's not true. I would have got close to finishing it. I probably put like 4 hours into the RE1 remake on the Switch, and I had such a good time. Now, Coal Mine's in the chat saying it is atrocious to play and needs it badly. I wouldn't say it's atrocious to play, but it is tough at times. And I man, I would kill for an RE1 remake of the remake because, I mean, the game is so fucking good. The mansion is so iconic. I would love to see, even though it still looks great, I would love to see that in a fully remade context. So yeah, I support
get
it. It sounds like you
excited.
don't though, Quentin. It sounds like you don't support the remake of a remake.
No, I'm all for it. I was just curious at what the thought was because, I mean, there's kind of there you had problems with, we kind of had problems with remakes like when they should be allowed, and I didn't know how you guys would feel about just stacking up the remakes of the same title over and over again. I bumped my mouse during that and it threw me off entirely. That's why I kind of fumbled.
Hey.
It brought up a menu. I got terrified.
Sometimes it happens.
I have right here the GameCube version, the Wii remaster / port, and the Switch remaster of Metroid Prime. So I can't really speak against it when I've embellished, when I've engaged in that
You do need
behavior.
help. That is for sure.
That's, yep.
Yeah, exactly. Folks, we've been waxing poetic for a few minutes now. What do you say we start throwing some games on the board and deciding what are the best of the best, Jake? I see you nodding that head of yours.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're
You
in?
want a
You
game?
ready? What'd you say?
Yeah. I'm so ready. Do I start? Do I just give you a game?
Give me a game.
Oh, all right. There's a
They can
visual
be
and
either.
everything.
We're
Audio
gonna be
listeners,
tracking them
suck it.
both at the same time.
All right. I like it. Let me submit my first pick, if you will. A remake that I had to make a tough decision here because I wasn't sure if I should put in Fire Red and Leaf Green or what I am ultimately decided on, which I think are the best Pokemon remakes that have ever existed. Heart Gold and Soul Silver, the DS remakes of Pokemon Gold and Silver.
So I'm not a knower. Those are definitely remakes. They're not remasters. The Heart Gold, Soul Silver.
Yeah. I think there's enough. I think there's enough added.
Okay.
Would you guys agree?
I just don't know. I don't know.
I never got around to those, honestly, which is a shame in my past. So I don't want to talk
I mean,
about it.
there's like a lot of content that is like you can get Pokemon outside of the 251 that were in there. I think that enough warrants like there's enough programming and additional shit in there that those are remakes.
Don't correct
allow
my spacing.
I did, and I will, and I have. Blaster Goblin, do you have any experience with Heart Gold and Soul Silver, or is this just Jake?
I do not. I'm a Gen 1 and Gen 3er, and I skipped 2, really.
Okay.
I've been in and out of it, but man, I'm only like halfway in on Pokemon. I got 1 foot in and 1 foot out on that series.
Okay, because on Tuesday you said 40% in, so like make up.
Yeah. Yeah, that's somewhere
My
around
question to you is: are you shaking it all about, or is your foot?
I'm
not
just
in
doing
and
this the turning myself around part.
Got it. Okay. All right. Well, hokey pokey your way on to putting the game on the board, Quentin. What's next?
I'm gonna do the one that I spoiled right in the beginning. I'm gonna go with Halo 1 Anniversary. I think is like the one of the coolest remakes because it was like the first one that like I was like, oh, this is an incredible feat we've made where you can switch back and forth between the graphics. It doesn't ruin the game pacing entirely because every time you walk into a room, you're like, what does it look like before? What does it look like now? And you have to like stop at every single thing you see.
Sure.
But it looks cool.
I did love in that. Just at every single map, press the select button. No, just what does it look like? Oh, it looks like dog shit. Let's go back to the better one. But more so, I like the music that they have, like the updated music too. That was a fun little touch, for sure. Maps mentioned. I'm activated. Jordan, what are you adding to the list?
Let's see here. Yeah, I'll go with the Metroid 2 Samus Returns remake.
Okay. Ord.
I almost brought Zero Mission.
Did you? No, I'm just being an asshole. I've not played any of them, so. Well, who's to say?
You still can bring Zero Mission.
No.
No. Because, I mean, I'll go ahead and just get it out of the way. On the other side of the board, the Metroid Prime Remaster is going to be on the list. Might as well. If we're talking about Samus and that suit of hers, that ball of hers rolling around, maybe I'll play it more one day. Who's to say? Most likely I won't, but I might try.
And let me say, as the resident Mega fan, I understand why you won't. You've told me the story, and I validate you, sir.
It was tough.
And your parking.
Yeah. Thank you. It's a Monopoly-like, I fear. I, for people that don't know the story and are like, oh, what's the lore? I want the lore. I lost progress. I lost a lot of progress in that game. And it was also in a time in my life that I just lost quite literally everything. And so to then also lose a couple hours of a stupid little video game, I was like, oh, I'm never touching this again. And I still haven't since then. Jake, what else? What else are you putting on the list?
Am I on either side right now, or
Yeah, we're fluid right now.
sure? Well, I guess I can ask: does Final Fantasy VII Remake belong on either of these lists, or is it so much of a different thing that it's not?
I feel like it, not just because remake is in the name. I would say it does belong in the remake list. But what do y'all think?
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Yeah,
I am not a Final Fantasy guy at all, But from based off like looking at what it is, I feel like that's its own. That's like its own series. But they put remake in the title, so you can put it there. They put it on the name, so I guess you're free.
What
to
if
go.
If I had to
put-
choose
What
between
if we
running
put them
that thing
both
for
together as one submission?
Yep.
7
Just like
remake
part 1
trilogy,
and part 2 of the game so far. We just haven't gotten part 3 yet.
I don't know. I'm back and forth. I actually think I might side with Blaster Goblin on like if I had to choose between submitting it for best picture or fucking, best comedy, I would submit it for best picture. Like I don't know if it needs to. I don't know if it should be on here because it's so much its own thing.
Okay.
So I think
That's
I'm pulling back on my own thing. Let me bring my next fucking pick.
I'm so
And
glad
this
we
one
had that
is
60 seconds on the podcast.
I think that was really
great.
good. That might make a good clip.
Great clip.
Let me do this one. I feel like gets it gets lumped into its original release, but is arguably more beloved. And I think this is like a dark horse for a very high ranking on the remaster side of things, and that's Sonic Adventure 2 Battle.
Brother.
You would.
It wasn't until like really recently, like within the last 2 years, that I realized that Sonic Adventure 2 Battle wasn't the first release. I just
Yeah.
always assumed because that was the first one. That was the only one I ever had, and I played the wheels off of that thing in the fucking Chow Garden. Are you kidding me?
Yep.
But I saw someone talk about Sonic Adventure 2, and it was like box art, and it didn't have battle, and I'm like, I'm sorry, huh? And then yeah, fucking Dreamcast. I had no idea. The dead console.
Original
Which,
box art was so much better too.
Yeah,
Sorry, which side is it going again?
that's remaster?
Remasters.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so. Yeah. There's some additional content, but like that is running on the exact same engine in the whole 9 yards. Like it is
Gotcha.
like everything that's new is on like a sub menu. I'm pretty sure.
No glasses, Patrick can't hurt you, but he will. Frenched it, but he will. Not Battle for New York. Blaster Goblin. I mean, someone's got to say fucking Resident Evils.
What do I give the people what they want, or do I give the people the other thing that they want that are both on brand for me, or do I do the out of left field one?
Out of left field. We'll eventually get to Dead Rising as well.
Okay. Oh, Dead Rising was not the other option, but
What?
man, that remaster, garbage.
So it's not on the list. Take it off the list.
Talk about a thing that just killed the entire game, made it so easy, destroyed the need for time. Just really just took that game, pillaged it for all of the worst parts of it,
Oh,
and
of
then
course,
threw it
Caleb.
away.
Tony Hawk, of course.
No, we'll get there.
We'll get there,
I'll
we'll get
go to
there.
left field one. Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy. I
in
missed
just the
out
letter,
on
of course.
Crashed as a kid, like entirely. Crash just passed me by, and I thought the Insane Trilogy was like one of like the best like remasters of a game. After I went back and like checked it out, I'm like, wow, this is really obtuse. And playing the Insane Trilogy is just like such an incredible experience compared to that.
Did I
Not
spell it
Crash
correctly?
Bandicoot. That seems right to me.
That does. Can we piggyback off of that? And at the same time, you want to just hit enter and add the Spyro Reignited trilogy because that's on my list, and they are both poised for Bob jobs. And let me tell you, these motherfuckers know what they're doing. I think that studio resurfaces this year with a new Spyro game, and I think it's going to be so sick.
I love a Bob job. I still haven't played Spyro, and I want to.
I also haven't.
Oh, it's so good. I like it more than Crash.
Yeah. Toys for BJ's. Maybe. Those exist, I believe.
I 120%ed Spyro this past weekend in the Reignited trilogy.
How is there 20 extra percent in a video game?
Spoilers for Spyro. Very minimal, just for that the game wraps up. When you 100% it and you get all of the collectibles, and it's like a pretty reasonable 100%, you get this last bonus level that's called so-and-so's treasure trove, and it's just this one massive level, and for the only time in the game, you have free flight mode where you can just jump around and fucking fly all over the place, and there's like thousands and thousands of gems to collect. It's like the coolest, sweetest victory reward that you could ever get in a video game.
Oh, yeah.
It's awesome.
Here's a question. Spyro or Crash, Jake?
Spyro.
Spyro or Crash, Jordan?
You ready for some lore?
Yeah.
I have
Oh, no,
played
I'm scared.
0 games from either series.
Got it. Okay. So pick one.
Which one's hotter?
Spyro's hotter.
All right, he would fuck
Literally and metaphorically.
Spyro. Yeah. Last Goblin, Spyro or Crash?
Well, I mean, I did just say which one I've played and which one I haven't, but
Yeah, but the social media people don't know that.
the important thing is it all comes down to one word, and that's jorts. Crash. Where's jorts? Crash is better.
Okay. Okay.
Patrick?
I'm in the same boat where, because I've never touched Spyro, I feel like I have to say Crash, but I do think that I would like Spyro more than Crash. So I'm actually saying Spyro. Also, he's purple, my favorite color.
Kayla, Jerica, Josh, we gotta get Spyro 1. That's like a one-off. Everybody could cram that game in 1 week. It's like fucking 8 hours long, maximum.
I just almost said something very foul, and I didn't. But it had to do with cramming and Jake. Next up for me, so here's a question I have before I unveil my next pick. It is a game that we've technically talked about, but if a game has new content, can it still be a remaster? Or would it just automatically default into remake, even if it's just like slightly a remake?
How much content?
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. How much new content we talking?
So I'm referring to The Legend of Zelda HD, which they call remaster. Or is it just Legend of Zelda Wind Waker HD? Jake, no, actually, they don't use the word remaster. It's just HD. But the entire final act of that game, which is this one huge mission, is like completely reworked in the game.
It is.
And I feel like that's a pretty big change to
I think
the
those
game.
are remakes.
I feel like it's a remake, right?
I would say remake,
Yeah.
not only because of that, how they reworked that final act, but also they added like some new items in addition to obviously making it look a lot better and flow a lot better. So
Yeah.
like, I agree with remake on that one.
All right, let's go. HD Wind Waker in the remake category. A game that I've not finished yet because I don't have a Wii U, but I have it on my Steam Deck. And if you get the whatever that emulator is on the Steam Deck, there's a cool thing where you can toggle the second screen of a Wii U with your back paddle buttons. Feels great on the Steam Deck. But I keep fucking waiting for the official re-release on Switch 2 or Switch. And I keep thinking that maybe it's not going to happen. But I hope it does.
Yeah,
that is my
I don't know
next
anymore.
You should never wait for Nintendo to bring you anything, because they won't.
I know.
They're just not going to do it.
I've considered just getting a Wii U and playing it on a Wii U, which I think could be fun. But I'll
Keep your
probably
eye out for trash cans.
I'm so jealous. I don't think you understand how pissed I am to know that you just were given a Wind Waker Wii U. I'm so upset. Jake, back to you. What else are we adding to the list?
Am I on this podcast tonight? Like,
Yes, you fucking added something, didn't you?
Samus, like, I'm just
My
kidding.
turn.
Jay, go ahead. I'm just being a dick.
No, you're right. I thought I kicked back to you, and I didn't.
No,
Let's
you're
go,
good.
Jordan.
On
Let's
account
go,
of
Jordan.
I hate you, but Jordan, it's your turn.
Actually, this is speaking out of left field. I want to stick with the Wii U though, because this is just a remaster, but they brought over Deus Ex Human Revolution to the Wii U for the director's cut, and like, I'm not gonna say that like playing an FPS with that unwieldy gamepad was very fun, but they use the whole like second screen thing in really cool ways, kind of like Wind Waker did, with like you can pull up the entire map. You can like actually mark the routes for like enemy troops or whatever, like in the game. Like, so it was pretty sweet actually.
You guys remember when they unveiled the Wii U and they were like, you can play, I don't know if that was at the unveiling of the Wii U, but they're like, you can get the Arkham Armored Edition of Arkham City. You can get Mass Effect 2. And it was just like a bunch of games that already existed for like 6 years on other consoles. Was it at launch? Do you remember, Jordan?
If not, then it was. I feel like it was pretty soon after. If it wasn't, but I honestly forget the timing of it specifically.
Gotcha.
But yeah, they had Mass Effect 3. Like, I felt they had some sort of dumb like subtitle for it that was.
Oh, it was 3, right? It wasn't 2. You're right.
Even as a
Jay.
big Mass Effect guy, I never picked that one up on the Wii U.
I mean, who would have?
Can you guys believe that fucking Blue Point Studios just doesn't exist anymore?
That's so fucking
It's
sad.
nuts.
It's so fucking crazy. 2018 Shadow of the Colossus remaster.
Easy.
Crazy.
Easy. Such a
Unbelievable.
good game.
Perfection. Exactly what you're supposed to do.
Oh
First
no!
way
How do
I
you spell
played that game.
Colossus?
COLOSSUS.
Thank you.
Yeah, first place or first time I played that game was the remaster, and it's so fucking good.
Yeah.
Blaster Goblin, are you a Shadow of the Colossus girly?
Never once.
Yeah. What
Never
have you
once.
played?
Not a lot.
Give me
Mostly
10 games right now.
just Tony Hawk's and Resident Evils.
Got it.
Recently, some Dead Risings, not Dead Masters, Dead Risings.
What are the last
Sega
5
Superstars
games you played
Tennis?
that weren't a Tony Hawk or a Resident Evil
Ooh, okay.
or Dead Rising?
Struggling.
Struggling. You haven't played Redfall yet, so you can't. Say
I'm
that.
going to tomorrow. I'll play Redfall tomorrow.
Did you start Outlaws yet? Because Outlaws would count.
I played Pacopia. Didn't start that yet either. I played Pacopia. I played Mario Kart World.
Very good. Very good.
Struggling again.
We can stop at 2. 2 is like 5. 2 is the 5 of.
I
today.
tried to play Wind Waker and thought the camera sucked.
That's funny. Not you putting our guest on the spot. LOL, leave him be. No. We're having fun.
knows what
But
to do.
Blaster Goblin, I do believe it is your turn.
Oh, it is. Yeah, I'll give the people what they want now. We'll do a Tony Hawk remaster, or remake. I apologize, whichever one they want to put it in. And I want to go 3 and 4, but I know that's gonna make a lot of people. That's a very controversial remake. But I love
what I
3
would
plus
pick.
4, so
I
I'm
would
gonna
pick
say
3 plus 4.
I'm gonna
I
say
think
3
it's a
plus
stronger
4
title.
because
$3+
1 plus 2 is one of those things that's been remade before, again. Arguably way better, way better than the last time, but it's been remade more than once.
When 3 and 4 came out last year, were people unhappy? I'm surprised to hear that the people would be mad about not choosing 1 and 2 over 3 and 4.
Did you not? You were. This is an actual question. You don't know
Yes, this is an actual
Oh,
question. Yeah, what did I
people
miss?
people really don't like the way they redid 4 in that they set it on a 2-minute timer, and it's not like an open world where you go talk to NPCs, and they just kind of made it a 2-minute timer. Yeah, it's come
coming
back to you now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
People were
Esley
not
down
happy
once,
about it.
It's all coming back
I
to you
think
now. That's right.
3 and 4 has a lot of like bonus content compared to 1 and 2. Like 1 and 2, I have more nostalgia for with like the warehouse and the foundry and whatnot. I think those are the levels, but no warehouse. What's the first level of Tony Hawk 2?
Tony Hawk 2 is the hangar.
Hangar,
Warehouse
that's
is
what I'm
Tony
thinking
Hawk
of.
1. Foundry is
Yeah,
3.
those two. Foundry is 3, but 3 and 4 has like 3 full additional levels that were not in Tony Hawk's 3 or 4, and they were some of the first new Tony Hawk's Pro Skater levels that we've had in like 10 plus 15 years.
Oh, wow.
Outside of like Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5, which doesn't really
25?
count. Something like that. Yeah, I go 3 plus 4 over 1 plus 2 as well.
He's not.
I think it's a better game, despite the entire Tony Hawk community telling
fuck
me I'm
them.
wrong.
Honestly, fuck you. That was to the Tony Hawk community, of course.
I agree.
I think it's back to Jordan before he yells at me again.
Sorry, Daddy.
Better be.
So, I tried to make most of my list be ones that I actually played the original of. Actually, that's not. Scratch that. I think I'm throw on Persona 3 Reload. I was surprised to see what the original looked like after I actually gotten some time into the Reload version because I never played it. And so going back and seeing just how like old school it was, I was like, oh wow, they really remade this one. So solid game.
There you go. I have to be vulnerable for a second.
Yeah.
I wasn't listening. What game did you pick? Persona. Great. I didn't mean to not listen. I got distracted by the chat. Dan Goodshow in the chat said, now Patrick's nervous and Jordan is taking extra turns. And I'm like, wait, is he? And I was like doing math in my head. And I just wasn't listening because I was trying to figure out if I gave you an extra turn. Classic.
I think whatever it is, we're even. So we're
Great. We're even.
Yep.
We're even, Steven. Kayla says, can I block, drop, and drop a pod? No, you can't. Jeez Louise. I want to throw Dead Space on the list, the Dead Space remake. But then I'm like, is this a remaster? I guess. Even though, I mean, it was rebuilt from the ground up, but it is the same game. I don't believe they changed it really, other than like, there's some quality of life things with like saving and some of the items and things like that. But there's not like new content really. So I don't know where would we put Dead Space, even though they call it a remake themselves. Anybody? Did anybody play it?
I feel like, is it remake in the title?
I believe the title's just Dead Space.
I mean, it is
isn't
just Dead Space, but I believe EA marketed it as Dead Space Remake.
A different UI?
I mean, it's like
If
Jake
it's-
just got super loud. I don't know.
If it's close enough to the same game without like, if there's not enough you can remember that's new about it, it's probably a remaster.
Okay, let's put it in the remaster camp then. Be safe.
I've never played any Dead Space, except I played the like iOS iPad Dead Space port that
Yeah.
was really bad.
You should
But
play
that-
Dead
that's
Space.
all I can think of.
I think with how much you fuck with Resident Evil, unless you just like really don't like space, I think you should play Dead Space for sure. Like legit.
I've never
It's a-
taken like an anti-space stance, but I could be.
There are people out there. They want to keep their feet on the ground here on Earth. But Dead Space rocks. It's so good. It's in ways it's adjacent to Resident Evil 4. And I'll leave it at that. Jake, I'm back to you.
Yeah. I feel like I wanted to bring Ocarina of Time 3D into the mix, but I feel like with Wind Waker HD, I think that wins as far as like a Zelda coat of paint and upgrade. For remaster, which is kind of filling up, I'm gonna go Super Mario All-Stars.
Ooh.
Yeah, I like this pick.
It's a little bit cheating because it's 3 fucking games. And if some cartridges, has World on it as well. But talk about like a really early example of what like a new coat of paint can do for a game. A lot of people's first experience with the Mario games was on the Super Nintendo via Super Mario All-Stars.
Yeah.
Absolute fucking banger. The right pack-in for a console as well.
I mean, this is like, these are my dream remasters of like now it's on the thing that I have with me every day. And I get to play these great fucking games, including Super Mario Sunshine, even though the Sunshine port is kind of dog shit. But it's not dog shit enough that I won't play it. I'll just complain about some things about it. Yes, Cog?
Oh, Jake, were you saying 3D All Stars? I'm sorry.
No. 3D All-Stars is what Patrick's talking about. I'm talking
Oh,
about All-Stars
fuck.
Super Nintendo of the
I
first
was like,
one
wait a
through
second.
3.
I thought you meant the
3D All-Stars is cool too, but that's just a remaster, and I do like that it's on there, which I think both could fit, to be honest. But if we're choosing, I feel like original All-Stars, it's a little divisive with its art style, but generally having those 3 on a fucking Super Nintendo cartridge went crazy.
It's just
It did.
there were 3 of them. Also,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
You're a
it,
bad
like
shot.
literally the only edition is 3D, like identical titles other than that, you know. So it's all good.
I fear I deserve a spanking. Who's gonna give it to me? Quentin, back to you.
I'm gonna throw out one more remaster, and it may not be good to anybody else, but it's very close to my heart, and that is Destroy All Humans. Destroy All Humans remaster.
Oh yeah, for sure. Did you play? There was a Destroy All Humans like a ripoff that was like 2 Point Campus or like SimCity type game.
Does not ring a bell.
Came and
Destroy
played
All
it
Humans was
last-
another one like Crash that was new to me
Yeah.
with the remake that I'd never touched, or the remaster that they call a remake. But I was playing it as my son was born in the hospital. So
like as he.
yeah,
Ground.
I was ignoring her and just playing, just wrecking Destroy All Humans.
Yeah, for sure. That's awesome. I love that. And honestly,
So
it
it's very
describes
important to me.
Everything.
I don't know what he looked like when he came out, or for the like following 2 weeks after, but boy, did I wreck Destroy All Humans.
That's so funny. Jordan, what are we missing?
I know that we obviously can just add more to like more lines to the remasters, but I'll go back to the remake section for us. I don't think it's gonna be like at the top, but I got to give some shout out to Link's Awakening.
Sure.
Because something that we didn't really get around to discussing earlier was because there is some, as with everything with video games, just controversy for no real reason for stuff. And I saw a post earlier today where someone's like, yeah, Crimson Desert sold 5 million. That's what happens when you just make a new game and not remake or remaster everything all the time. And it's like, there's a place for it, and you you're going too far the other direction. And one of the things that's so special about some of these titles, like Link's Awakening, is that Grezzo worked on that first, and then that kind of gave them the green light to go ahead and make Echoes of Wisdom, which I adore. Metroid 2 Return of Samus, Mercury Steam works on that, and then they get the go-ahead to make Metroid Dread, which is like the best-selling and one of the higher-rated ones of the series. So it's like, there's so much to appreciate about remakes and remasters when you're not thinking in binaries,
Sure. That's so true.
Whatever Grezzo is working on next is like one of my most anticipated games, because it's a Zelda game, and it's gonna be one of three things. It's gonna be either a brand new original thing, either a sequel to Echoes of Wisdom or a brand new Zelda game, top down presumably, or they'll either go Oracle or Link to the fucking Past, which both will be absolute bangers.
That's
the
making me quiver.
yeah. Do you know the connection with Link to the Past and Echoes of Wisdom? Have you
Same
heard
art
this?
style.
No.
Oh.
No, Echoes of Wisdom, it's like if Link to the Past's map is like right here, then Echoes of Wisdom is like just like stretched out. It like fits in perfectly, like the layout of everything, and it's like
Interesting.
yeah, when they first started showing the trailer for Echoes of Wisdom for the reveal, I thought it was A Link to the Past, but obviously it was not. Still very, very happy with it. Adore it. Would love to see a Link to the Past remade in that same style. But
There you go.
Yeah.
yeah, I Link's Awakening. I still have some issues. Like I kind of put it in my mid, not mid, like the kids say, but like in the category of still good but not fantastic when it comes to remakes and remasters, because they still, even though they updated so much as far as the art style and mechanics and stuff, they still kept the very, very obtuse nature of the progression in the game. Where like, I shouldn't be having to look up stuff in 2025, whenever that game came out. Like, I had to Google how to finish this game because I was like, what am I missing for like bringing some random item to some random person on the other side of the map that like there's no indication. Like, I'm not saying yellow paint splatter everything, but like give me something. Like, you agree, Jake? Or
Splatter never hurt.
Link's Awakening is like one of my least favorite Zelda games. It is like, Zelda games always follow the same format. It's like go bop around in the fucking overworld, then go do a dungeon, and then go bop around in the overworlds. And what separates good Zelda games from amazing Zelda games is what you're doing in that fucking overworld. And Link's Awakening is just like so uninteresting. You're like delivering like random items to random people. You're doing fetch quests. You're running around with very little. If you get lost or you miss a story beat or something and you don't know what you're doing, you're looking for like a needle in a haystack in an overworld for like a hint of what to do next. It's
Like,
very
literally.
fucking annoying. Yeah.
Well, doesn't sound like it's gonna be very high up the list then.
yeah, no,
what I
I expected that, but I still just wanted to give it some flowers,
Sure.
as one does.
No, for sure.
Pretty.
We love flowers. I want to add a couple here, if I may.
You may.
Let's just do RE2 and RE4. I think we can skip 3. 3 is great. 3 gets a lot of hate, but it is third of those two, so let's just keep it to 2 and 4, I think.
People are too hard on RE3.
Hey, I said it's great. People are hard on it, but I think we can all agree 2 and 4 are better.
I'll give it to you.
Thank you. What else are you going to give to me?
Am I supposed to give you another game now? Is
You
that what I'm
could, yeah,
giving
we're
you?
skipping Jake.
Okay.
Or a dick, either one.
Okay. How do we feel about Ratchet and Clank?
2016, easy
Yes.
on the list.
Yeah.
Is that a remake or is that a reboot? Or is that the same category to you here?
I think that game is a remake with just how it plays. Like, I don't think it's even running on the same engine. I think it's like all built ground up to like feel like that game, and it looks so drastically different. It skips 2 console generations. It's PlayStation 2 straight to PS4. I think it's a fucking remake, not a remaster.
But it does change the story a bit, right?
It changes
Am I
it
not
up a bit,
wrong?
too.
There's like
Yeah, because
there's
don't they?
quite a
Oh,
few
yeah.
different levels.
You're right. It's
Don't
that
they
game is
incorporate
technically
the-
the game based on the movie based on the game.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a weird kind of like remake, also reboot, also a movie
Yeah.
adaptation.
Correct.
Jake, anything else you want to add on the list?
We got to get Delta on there.
Oh yeah, for sure.
and I'm
On the
going to fight
remaster
for it
side.
really hard. Yeah, I mean, if you, this has been something I've talked about on Drop In, Drop Out. You know, it's so often I think about how like, oh, I might not have told this story on this podcast before, but like we're more than a year in. You guys were around listening to us when we were playing Metal Gear Solid Delta, but for a first experience last year for a game that is that old, what a fucking banger!
Sure.
Ooh,
It's so
that
good, yeah.
resonated. I
agree.
cried hard on stream.
I still never watched you cry. I wanted to watch you cry and I didn't.
It's a good watch. It's a good cry.
Yeah.
Cathartic.
That was the first time I ever played Metal Gear Solid 3 and I fucking loved it. I had a great time.
We can go ahead and add this to the list of games I've never played. Like all of the Metal Gears except for one.
Sure. Easy.
Quentin, would it be easier if you just listed all the games you have played?
I did.
on air.
Tony Hawk, Resident Evil. That's what I got.
Dumpster Boy says, has no one mentioned the Spider-Man remaster completely changing Peter's character level? That's a good
Oh,
point.
that's a good one.
That's a good point. That's a good point. No one has until you just now. It is a good
And
one.
nobody will. So.
That's kind of the only thing they remastered about that game is his face. The
Correct.
rest looks pretty much the same.
Yeah, it's
and
just
then
like-
a different guy.
Maybe can be 4K now, perhaps, instead of 1080p, maybe. But I do want to add Bully on the list. Speaking of the
sure.
Dumpster Boy, the Bully remaster. Quite good. It has some
I've
of that
never
like
considered that a remaster. I always thought it was as kind of like a port. But I guess it does look a little better and add some stuff. So
yeah, and you know, I could be vetoed for sure, but I feel like it, and like what Jake was saying earlier, like the skipping of the generations of it all, I feel like maybe it ends up being low on the list, but I just love an excuse to talk about Rockstar's best game, Bully.
Oh, Scholarship Edition's fantastic.
It's so good. Jordan, back to you. I skipped you.
I'm going to. I'm between two. Do you want the game that's weird, or do you want the game that's newer and probably more critically
Weird.
acclaimed?
Weird.
Near Replicant. For remakes.
Cool.
I like it. What was the other one?
Tits.
Ah, Tits. Sure.
Which
I need to
I
get back to that.
Yeah, I just picked it back literally like 2 days ago. Picked it back up and put another little bit into it. I'm not going to put the version 3.1 whatever they put on.
Let's
the,
add, when you're done with that, let's add Mass Effect Legendary Edition from the chat, Coal Mines. I think that's a good add, a good.
That was
pull
on my
for
list as well.
remasters. Yeah. Really, the only other thing on my list that I think is potentially. Actually, no, I don't even know that it's really worth mentioning. I was gonna say the KOTOR remaster, but I don't think so. It's
Was it
it's
remastered?
more so a port. It was technically on the Switch, but it's more so a port. And especially like then they got in a lot of trouble because they were supposed to, with the remaster, bring in unreleased stuff for KOTOR 2 specifically, but then they never did that, and then they were sued, and it was a whole mess. But let's just
Didn't
let's
they
just-
not even? I don't know if you knew this. I'm pretty sure, to the best of my knowledge, you cannot actually play KOTOR 2 start to finish on the Switch still.
Yeah, it's
Like
still broken.
it was broken, and they never fixed it.
Yeah.
In addition to
I-
not releasing the unreleased stuff.
I had gotten like 5 or 10 hours into a playthrough before I learned about that bug. I didn't get to the bug, but I heard about it, and I was like, well, I'm done with that.
Yeah.
I'll circle back in 10 years and hope it's fixed. And it will never be
Circle
fixed
back.
because they're dead, basically. What else? Anything we're missing that we want to throw on before we start shimming this list around?
I mean,
The
to
only
dig
one
the
that
grave of our previous conversation, we got to put Mafia Definitive Edition.
Oh,
on
for sure.
there.
Yeah, for sure.
You can't
On
skip
the-
that.
where would that be?
I think it's a remaster. No, I think it's a remake. I guess they have different like voice actors in it. I think, and they added
Well,
some
yeah,
stuff.
it goes
I'd
back
put
to
it
the
in
conversation
remake.
of like it's completely rebuilt basically, and it skipped several generations, but it is the same game. I don't think there's new content. Ooh, so I don't know. It's like that weird in between. Let's just say remake.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it technically would fall into remaster, but let's throw it over there because we don't have as much over there.
Right. I was going to ask
Pad,
you.
pad out the list. What an
really
experience,
thought-
though, going to that. If you ever play like the PC or PS2 version of that, where like every time you go like to the next section, you'd have to hit like an hour loading screen, and then you sit there and wait, and then you can go for a little bit longer in a game that every mission is drive all the way across the map because that's 90% of Mafia.
That's awful.
It's quite an experience to get to actually travel around the whole map and look at stuff.
That's awful. It's so funny going into this. I thought that the remasters side was just going to be a little lighter than remakes, but then I didn't consider that things like Dead Space would go over there, or even Shadow of the Colossus. In my mind, was remake because of Bluepoint, but it's their remaster. You're right.
Yeah.
So it's all about perspective, baby.
Any other
alright.
remakes to add? I mean,
Yes. One more remake. If I can grab Fable Anniversary
Nice.
is a really, really nice version of the original Fable game that has all the additional content that came out in like the Lost Chapters stuff, because that game has like a weird release schedule where the first game came out, there was a lot of cut content, and then they released not only DLC but also that Lost Chapters thing that kind of finishes the story and gives it a full epilogue. And then the Anniversary Edition brings all that stuff up, a bunch of new content as well as the coat of paint. So the original Fable is low-key to this day came out, the Anniversary Edition came out after Fable 2 and after Fable 3. It's the most modern traditional Fable game that we have is the Fable Anniversary Edition, which is fucking wild. And for a 360 game, I think it really holds up on like the Xbox consoles because it's available on Game Pass and Xbox One and Xbox Series X. It's just a very easy game to go acquire and play in like the highest fidelity that you could.
Oh yeah.
nice.
I want to pull one more from the Discord.
Oh, yes.
Big Freakin', the homie, wrote in a few. We already talked about Final Fantasy VII Remake, and we decided not to add it. He also said Crisis Remastered. Has anyone here played Crisis?
Yeah, I played 2 and 3 back in the day, and I picked up the trilogy remaster, but I think that was on my PS5 that I don't have anymore, so I never finished it.
We'll just give that game a shout out for Big Freakin', because I don't think we could speak to it really. But Black Mesa, interesting. It's a fan project turned real project where a small team remade Half-Life in the Source engine and made it look and feel more like Half-Life 2. It's a very special project. I think that could go in the remake category as that final slot. Black Mesa is awesome.
I was gonna say I did have one more in mind for a remake if we wanted to, but if not, then we can go in. This is one of the games where I'm surprised when I look back at how unpopular it is. Not like that it got like completely shat upon, but like Pokemon Let's Go. I mean,
oh sure.
People
He
like
said, "Let's
really
go, dude."
did not vibe with that. It has like like mid to high 70s aggregate scores, but like I don't understand why. I guess I kind of do. I guess people just miss the more traditional capturing methods, but I didn't mind the Go mechanics, and like the way that they just rebuilt everything for like the art style and kind of made things more cinematic was really, really cool. So
Yeah, I definitely
I love it.
I've only dabbled with it on someone else's Switch before when I was at their house, so literally like 15 minutes. But I didn't love the Pokemon Go mechanic of capturing. But I do think that it's overhated for sure for that one thing, I think.
Yeah.
Because it's the original game just again. So like everyone loves the original game. The capturing mechanic can't be that big of a thorn in the game.
Yeah.
As a
I
Gen
have,
1er, I loved it.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm also pretty sure I classified it as a remake publicly at one point, or a remaster at one point. But I
'cause
reserve the
I-
right to completely turn around on my decision of everything I say. So the remake sounds right now.
I pretty sure that I left a comment and was like, I agree with you for like 90% except for Let's Go.
That sounds right. It
I'm
was like
pretty
a
sure that
Hail
was me.
Mary at the end. I was like, I'll just throw
Yeah.
this out there. I might call it a remaster.
Completely
There's-
understandable.
Underrated feature of Pokemon Let's Go is it can be like the most passively controlled video game ever. I bought like the $100 version that came with the Pokeball controller, and that controller is literally a single button and then like a joystick that you can click in, and with just those two fucking buttons to interface with and the stick, you can do every function that the game like asks of you by just like holding or pressing. It's unbelievable. Like you could just be doing whatever with like one of the Switch controllers in your hand and play that game completely efficiently. It's really cool.
Yeah, speaking of children being born, like I have very fond memories of like
Speaking of children being born, I'm sorry.
Insane.
I'm fucking sorry. Speaking of children being born, no, sir. I have to put my foot down.
I have very fond memories of. So if you don't already know, you you can play the game in handheld if you want to, but you cannot play with like a Pro controller or like a dual Joy-Con setup. If it's dock, you have to use single Joy-Con. So like my newborn son, I would just be like holding him, rocking him in one arm, and just like throwing and catching with the other.
I can't get over the transition of something that no one had fucking said. Granted, Blaster Goblin spoke about it like 3 hours ago.
Yes, that's what it was.
Dude.
But I can't
That's
get
what it
over
was supposed to refer to.
I can turn around on anything I say, and he can reference anything from the past 6 days.
Oh man, what are you saying? I didn't listen.
When my son was a newborn, I would like hold him in one hand and one arm and like be throwing and catching with the Joy-Con in the other.
I see. Fuck me, dude.
There was some Smash Ultimate going on in the birthing suite, but not while there was active labor, but when there was downtime.
Oh, yeah.
Oh man.
What a fucking moment that was. Thank you. Honestly, thank you. Okay, let's start forming a fucking list out of what we got here. Does any of these on either side feel like they got to be top dog or bottom dog of either? Like, I feel like there are a few that feel kind of obvious on one side or the other. Like, I do think Bully could be low on the remaster side as one example. I think Link's Awakening also low. Any other strong feelings?
On which side are we on? Remaster?
I was just kind of bouncing back and forth before, like, until anybody said anything.
I think that
for
you all
sure.
were on the money earlier. Like the Resident Evil remakes, they've got to be near the top
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, Resident Evil 2 is the one, regardless of my feeling on 4 being better. That's the one that everybody talks about first. Anytime there's a remake conversation, that's like top of the list.
I agree. Also, I feel like on the remaster side, I think Metroid Prime makes sense pretty high. That's a really beloved thing.
Yeah.
And I would put Crash and Spyro probably pretty close behind it for remasters because
I would keep
there's
those
not a
pretty
person
close
that
to each
didn't
other.
like those.
And I think Shadow of the Colossus should be high as fuck.
I think so too. I might
Just
even
like
put
you?
Shadow of the Colossus above Crash. But that also might
I
just be
would put it
biased that
over-
I like the game.
I would also put it over both of them, I think. It's tough because I'm giving credit, like, if it's Shadow of the Colossus versus, like, Crash Bandicoot 2, like, it's Shadow of the Colossus, but, like, that whole trilogy of it kind of gives it more weight, so I don't know, it gets tough for me to reconcile.
I
do think.
go ahead,
I know
Jordan,
I
sorry.
shouted it out, but Deus Ex, you can put that like toward the bottom. Like I said,
Sure.
it was very cool. I liked what they did, but it wasn't like as awe inspiring as half of these are. So.
Yeah, no, for sure. I feel pretty strongly that Dead Space could be like top 2 or 3, honestly. Because it's so like and I think part of it might be that it has a little bit of an unfair advantage that a lot of people might even classify that as a remake. So like it just kind of has like a different set of standards to it. But it's just like talk about the definitive way to play a fucking video game is the Dead Space remake, remaster, whatever we're gonna call it.
Remakester.
Remakester, sure.
I'm just now registering that MGS Delta went into remasters. I thought that was a remake.
I think it...
Well,
I thought you all were saying that there wasn't really enough changed in the actual like moment to moment stuff or the story
But-
to.
they did build an entirely different camera option to make the game be over the shoulder, which is a pretty big change. So actually that probably might actually make sense on the remake side then. Because you can play it in its original version, but it really does kind of completely change the moment-to-moment gameplay when you're playing over the shoulder.
Oh, okay. I forgot all about that. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did too until...
I'd be
right
okay
now.
switching it over to the other side.
I haven't played it. I just
no,
noticed
I
it
think
felt
so.
like
We
it was
know.
in the wrong spot.
No, I think you're right. Yeah. I like this change.
There wasn't a skateboard, so and we know you didn't play it.
That's true.
So true. So true. Jake, where do you think Sonic Adventure 2 Battle goes?
I feel like Sonic Adventure 2 Battle is like the smack dab in the middle, feels right.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit of a lower thing. I think Super Mario All Stars can be pretty low. Because I just think that art style is divisive. I know for me, I prefer it to have that nice coat of paint, especially on like Mario 2, which I don't think looks that good. But for Mario 1, outside of the nostalgia factor, pretty drastic upgrade.
Blaster Goblin, where would you say Destroy All Humans goes as the sole player?
I think it's in a decent spot where it is. Maybe under All Stars. There's something about All Stars that's not registering with me as like a remaster. It just feels like a port to me. I think it's because it's such an old, like it's a Super Nintendo game, and for some reason it feels like those can't be remastered in any way.
Sure.
Like
Yeah,
you're just
it's
putting
like
a
the
couple
first
extra
example.
squares on it. But
For
I
sure.
totally get where you're coming from. So I would put, because Destroy All Humans, not like the greatest game in the world, to be honest. It's all right.
Sure.
But the remaster was done really well. So I think right where it's at, solid placement.
Noah in the chat says people are going to hate it, but we need a third re in the conversation. Remaster is just master, like mix/master the source assets in their highest possible fidelity. Remakes just faithfully recreate the original game with new, higher quality assets. And that could happen with assets that aren't one-to-one recreations of the source. Reimaginings, like Tony Hawk 3 and 4 or the modern Final Fantasy VII trilogy, retell/reframe a classic game through a new lens. You make a good point. I do think it's too late for that.
Brother, let me refer you to youtube.com/blastergoblin,
you go.
where you can find exactly what you're looking for.
Or even youtube.com/@blastergoblin. Either one.
Even.
Yeah, they both work, I think.
Do they really?
I think so.
Speaking of
man.
newborns, I do think that this really does remind me of youtube.com/@blastergoblin.
Okay.
I mean, I feel like the remaster side looks pretty good to me.
I'm happy with it.
Yeah. I mean, I know you're happy with it because fucking Metroid's at the top.
It's not my fault that they did a bang up job.
I do think Dead Space should be higher, but it's, fine where it is. Noah asks, speaking of newborns, where's Coglina? Coglina is in prison.
For murder.
And I will be accepting no further questions at this time. Remakes. We started by putting RE2, RE4, and Wind Waker toward the top. And I think 3 and 4 probably feel good at the top to me, Tony Hawk, or toward the top at least. What else?
There's such a solid top 4.
Yes.
I'm pretty into Heart Gold and Soul Silver, man.
Yeah. Oh yeah, fight for it because we know none of us played it.
It's the definitive remaster of the best Pokemon games, and it adds so much to the point of like it is the easiest recommendation of like where to start for somebody to, especially coming off of like everyone kind of knowing blue and red so well, or leaf green and fire red. It just has everything that you hope that it would have. You got running shoes in this version of the game. Obviously, it's a DS game. It looks significantly better than it looked like when it came out on the original Game Boy. You can have every single Pokemon in the game can follow you around like Pikachu did in Pokemon Yellow. So you can just have like Lugia fucking flying around behind you or your starter the entire time. You can just turn around and talk to them and see how they're fucking doing. It has the whole second screen functionality of like the Poke Gear, where you can like check the time and use the calculator, and like so many post-game features that enrich the story. Well, not the story, but I guess enrich the experience more, because just knocking off the original 150 and then the extra 100 that you get in Heart Gold and Soul Silver, you can get Pokemon all the way through Gen 4, I think. Maybe, no, just Gen 4. But pretty cool. And already, if you don't know the twist of Pokemon fucking Gold and Silver in the post game, it's just the fucking best.
I wish that I'd experienced that and not been told what it is, because
Same.
it sounds like the fucking coolest thing.
It's still the coolest. Go play it. It's cooler than you even think.
Maybe. But you did refer to it as a remaster. Was that a misspeak, or should it be on that side of the list?
That's a misspeak. Yeah, there's too much going on for that to be a remaster. It's a remake.
Yeah.
Metroid 2 Samus Returns. Middle, bottom, top?
I think middle-ish feels
Middle-ish?
good. Because again, it's integral entry as far as the actual like overall story of the 2D saga goes. And they added some really cool stuff. They added some like new powers in addition to the whole melee counter that they carried over into Dread. They added a whole epilogue to it. So they really did a lot of stuff to it, and it was a very, very fun play. So I think it deserves, like I said, maybe not like top of the top, but it was very good. So right where it is, it feels pretty good.
Noah mentions Ocarina of Time 3D feels like a big exclusion here. We did discuss it, and we ended up not doing it because Jake had said we already have Wind Waker, but then we kind of went back on that when Cog threw on Link's Awakening. So I'm fine adding Ocarina.
I would add it.
Majora's Mask, I said. Majora's Mask.
Maybe a Majora's Mask.
Correct.
Now, here's the question, though. Are those remakes, masters?
I think they're all remakes.
Yeah,
like the 3DS ones? Are those not?
Yeah.
I would refer to those as remasters. Do they have new content?
I guess other than
They
being in
add
3D,
some
maybe
motion.
not.
They add some motion functionality.
Fundamentally, the big difference for the 64 games is going to be like a control scheme wise, where like you can do things in that game that make things so much more painless. Like the points of friction that you have doing the water temple in Ocarina of Time versus doing an Ocarina of Time 3D. Not only can you use like the bottom screen to do all of your equipment stuff without pausing the game, you can also map those things to like the C buttons that you couldn't do before. You could only do like Deku sticks. In this, you could map the fucking boots to that, so you could just like go iron boots and take them on, take them off, which I feel like with like UI and structure changes like that, it might pull it out of the remaster category. I don't know.
That's such a wrinkle for me, the second screen, because I feel like if it's just a control scheme, that just feels like a remaster. Like that's their graphics aren't good, let's make them look a little nicer. Your controls aren't good, let's make them play a little nicer. But the screen adds such like a new functionality to it that breaks my brain and I can't figure out where it goes.
We were talking about the same thing when the Fire Red and Leaf Green ports were announced for the Switch, about how like where do they go with Heart Gold and Soul Silver next, because it's not as easy as just porting this time around or remastering this time around. You need to find a solution for that fucking second screen, that input.
Yeah. Josh says, bro, you can see it in an additional physical dimension, which is very good. And then Noah said, didn't they rework the water temple too? I think they did. Or did
No.
they not? No?
I don't think so. They just made it like they added like some cut scenes and shit that make it a little bit more blatant. Like there's one part in the water temple that fucks everybody. It's where I got stuck. Go watch the VOD. It's like part 7 of the Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, and it's called 6 hours of water temple to lose your mind to. And it's just 6 hours of me fighting my way through the water temple with no fucking help. And it is so obnoxious. And I got stuck on the same part that everybody gets fucking stuck on. And it was like literally 2 hours from when I did like the last correct move to when I found what I was looking for. And it's just like your camera never really goes like under this platform in a central room. And in the 3D version of the game, when you enter that room and when you enter the dungeon, it pans in such a way as to show you physically like where you can go. Like you see the hole, you see the area that you can jump down to access, which makes navigating it obviously a lot easier because you're kind of pointed in the right direction. But that's
if we're seeing whole, then it's a remake.
So true. Honestly, so true. I'm just trying to get them in a line so that my life is a little easier. But I do also feel like Ratchet and Clank feels like high middle to me, like kind of where it's at now, I think.
Sure.
Where do we feel like Tony Hawk goes? Did we already say that's high?
Yeah.
I think it's pretty high.
I thought it was a fantastic spot in 4, but I'll let it go under if it needs to go under only one space though. Not too much more than that. The other one I want to fight for though is Mafia.
Okay.
And
yeah, this doesn't necessarily have to be the order. I just got it in an order.
I feel like Mafia should be up higher near that. Maybe not quite Ratchet and Clank area, maybe like around Persona.
Okay.
Just because it took such a trash bag of a game that was just hindered by its terrible looks and terrible controls and terrible loading, and made it into a fantastic modern game that feels like it came out weeks ago.
Does it feel good there, or should it be higher? Do you think?
I think that's fine. I'll let
Yeah.
everyone decide. I just felt like it was too low down.
Sure. No, that's fair. That feels good to me. I think where it is. Jordan, I never played near Replicant. I only played Automata. Where does that feel in the list to you? The bottom part, middle part?
That's a little tricky because I never played the original one to like make
Fair,
a
that's
comparison
fair.
to it, but like it really was just so polished and I assume that they use the same engine as they use for Automata. And like I wish I could speak more to it, but wherever your heart tells you to put it, I'll allow. But now that we've switched some stuff over to remake,
Yeah.
may I throw one tiny wrench into the remaster side, or is it too late?
I mean, it's never too late for anything.
I was gonna say one of the ones that I had on my list that I didn't say before was Control Ultimate Edition.
Oh, sure.
Because as we talked about before, I think on the content, I didn't really notice it too bad when I played it, but apparently it did launch kind of buggy. I must
Oh,
have
it was
picked
so
up like
bad.
a few months later, so like they'd already fixed some of that. But like the Ultimate Edition not only like up-res the stuff, but they also had like the DLC included, and they had the photo mode, and they had all the ray tracing, and all like the bells and whistles that they were becoming more modern at the time. So I think it I bought the Ultimate Edition 3 times, so it must be worth something, right?
It's a great game.
But is Ultimate Edition from the same generation?
No.
Yeah, it goes from 4 to 5, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
All right.
So yeah, the original Control was 2019, so that was on like Xbox One, and then Ultimate Edition was the next gen, or I guess now current gen upgrade. So
Yeah, it's kind of adjacent to like one of the Last of Us's, but like where like it looks better, feels better. It's not as buggy, but it's basically the same thing.
yeah, I say yeah, they didn't change a ton, which so I'm not saying put it like way up there, but just worth mentioning. It just flushes out the remaster list a little bit more.
Oh, for sure.
Now
And
that
like
we've
it
put
does,
like 4 more.
it does feel like it's the kind of thing where it's like, why would you ever play it on the base hardware ever again with the original version? Because they
Right.
fixed all those bugs that made the game pretty hard to play.
Yeah,
Like opening the map sometimes took like literally 35 seconds.
that was so bad.
And the map was fucking horrible.
Right.
One of the
and
few
then when,
times where I'm like, maybe it would have been better with how bad that map is.
it wasn't. I think it was in the base edition where like once if you unpaused, there was like a solid 3 or 4 seconds of like the game basically just loading back in, and Tyler C would try to move the camera, and it would be like,
It wouldn't work. I do feel like going back to the remake side, I feel pretty good about the top 5 of RE4, Wind Waker, RE2, Halo, and Tony Hawk as a pretty solid. Like I look at the rest of the list and nothing else feels. I do think Metal Gear Solid Delta needs to be higher than where it is. I don't know.
Persona 3 also should be higher than what it is.
Actually, I haven't played Reload. I played the remaster that they put out on like Switch and stuff, but not the remake. I didn't play Reload.
What if you shifted everything from Ocarina 3D down for Metal Gear right under Heart Gold Soul Silver? Maybe over Heart Gold Soul Silver. I'm pretty big on Metal Gear, but it doesn't do. Here's the problem that we got pulling Metal Gear out of remaster and into remakes is that I think yes, by definition it qualifies, but it doesn't do that much. You know what I mean? Like it's a nice coat of paint and it controls a little bit better, but it's not like a fucking massive stride ahead in what the game offers. Whereas like I look at that and I'm comparing it now because we're putting it right up alongside Heart Gold and Soul Silver, and like, god damn, like that's such a different experience compared to playing Metal Gear, which is a pretty similar experience to playing.
What do you think about that? Then I kind of put it back to kind of where it was, but then Persona 3 Reload up higher, where I was gonna put Metal Gear.
You think Metal Gear under Ratchet and Clank?
When you put it that way, I think maybe, because Ratchet and Clank, it does feel like a bigger lift. It feels like, I mean, really, with the recontextualizing of a bunch of stuff, and yeah, I don't know. I feel like that one kind of, I like where Ratchet and Clank is, I think.
Is Wind Waker HD getting by in the second place spot right now?
Maybe.
it feels wrong to put RE2 and RE. Is that
Doesn't
RE4?
feel-
Like
It is RE4. I'm
at the top. Okay, I was like, how did RE1 get on here? I just realized I thought they were together, and I'm realizing they're separate. It feels wrong to put them together, but I feel like they honestly, I feel like 2 should be the one that's on top. But
over 4.
that's the one people like. People love 2.
Hey,
I mean, I
we're
guess
not
it
talking about
does-
people. We're talking about you, baby.
Okay, well then 4 for
It
sure.
does. The gains are a lot bigger from original 2 to 2 remake from original 4 to 4. Like you can play original 4 right now and it still feels great.
Yeah.
So that's a good
That's
point.
fair. Yeah.
That's a good point.
It feels wrong to put them like on top of each other, but I feel like maybe they kind of belong that way. But if Wind Waker sits there, I'll allow it because I've only played the original Wind Waker.
Yeah. I mean, Patrick mentioned it. You really cannot oversell how much better it felt to do the whole final act of,
Oh my god, it's such a huge difference.
like, and I'm pretty sure that the whole like the fast sale, that was
Yeah.
a brand new addition into the
was.
the HD. And again, like I've talked about it. I've waxed poetic too many times probably about the way that a lot of Nintendo's properties just understand art direction as opposed to leaning too far into fidelity or whatever. And like, yeah, you can still go play the Wind Waker GameCube port on the Switch, and it looks very pretty. But they still took that and made it look like somehow even a lot better on the HD remaster remake. So yeah.
I want to hear Blaster Goblin when he gets back between Halo and Tony Hawk because I like both of those games, but I think I want Tony Hawk higher.
I actually think I like Tony Hawk higher as well.
Ooh, okay.
Well, then
Yeah, I'm
then
sorry. I'm
Halo.
such a poor guest. I've got a child's bladder, and it's really hitting me tonight. Too much.
Yeah, no, we
Coke
Oh,
Zero.
you're fine.
The microphone changed. We heard.
Oh, did it? Okay.
No, it didn't.
Yeah, it always switches over to my headphones. That's my biggest fear. Like if I'm on stream and I'm like I gotta go to the bathroom, I leave my headphone in the hallway because I always forget to take it off of the desk. I sit it down in the hallway and then I go in and then I come back in and put it on just to make sure nobody hears me. Between THPS and Halo, on Tony Hawk bias, I feel like it's Tony Hawk. Also, it is a way bigger jump in quality from Halo 1 to like Halo 3 era is not nearly as long of time from 3 to 3+4, which is like 2002 to 2025. quite a huge jump in quality there.
Sure.
That era was insane for like the timing of sequels. I mean, like I forget what the cadence was for Halo or the original trilogy, but I remember like the Metro Prime trilogy all released in like the span of 5 years. Like you cannot get that anymore ever.
No, literally, you fucking couldn't.
I
Unless
like
it's just a
that
small indie game.
holy trinity up there of Resident Evil, Zelda, and Tony Hawk all having
like
some
it too.
representation in that top 3.
Yeah, I did
It
a
feels
little
good.
shuffling. I dropped 4 out of the top, and Halo in that 5 slot. I don't know. This feels pretty strong to me. This order.
I think
Honestly, Black Mesa probably should be higher, but it's like whatever.
This may be way too late to say this. Like
Yeah.
way too late to say this. But is the Halo 2 remake better than the Halo CE remake as a
no.
as a remake? Because it like completely altered those cutscenes and changed it, and it looks way better.
but it was the cutscenes, not the gameplay. And
Well, they
suffers-
updated the graphics as well.
well, yeah, but one of the
think
things
it's-
that like I personally would have put only the first game anniversary edition on there is because they also added in like online multiplayer functionality to the first game, but that was baked into the second one. So like they really did add more for Halo 1 anniversary than Halo 2 anniversary.
Wasn't Halo 1 Anniversary's multiplayer just Reach? Didn't they just add maps to Reach? It was something weird like that.
Fuck, you might be right. There is something weird about
The
that.
original, I mean, when it came to Master Chief Collection, I think because that was just kind of like a playlist of multiplayer.
I
It
do
was really
vaguely
weird.
remember that.
I'm like almost positive CE was just Reach. They just gave
My
you like a
only-
map pack.
Issue with Halo 2 anniversary over Halo 1 anniversary is that it loses points for originality, I think, because there was that toggle in Halo 1 anniversary that was like the talk of town, man. That was like the coolest thing in the fucking world. And that release was so interesting, whereas I think it stood alone and it like had its little mark on like the Halo fandom, whereas Halo 2 Anniversary was kind of just like side loaded into Master Chief Collection, and like I was more excited to play Halo 3 online than I was to play like the Halo 2 Anniversary maps and shit like that. I think it was more of like a smaller piece to a bigger puzzle as opposed to Halo 1 Anniversary, which felt like its own thing.
I can't wait to revisit this conversation after Campaign Evolved comes out.
I was about to say, do we think Campaign Evolved has a chance to be the replacement for CE Anniversary, or do we think that's DOA?
It's dropping the multiplayer, so that's one thing.
Not with no multiplayer. Fuck.
Yeah.
I'm so concerned about that because the most important thing about Halo is that wacky physics engine. And I don't know how that's going to react in Unreal. Are they going to nail that or not? And I'm kind of like watching from the sidelines, waiting to see if that's a disaster or not.
I have never had less faith in a fucking team than I do of like Halo Studios, like built on the back of 343, where things were so bad they had to destroy and rebuild to get it right. Where like they have literally fumbled this franchise 4 times now. It's so fucking bad. Like they have not done anything right with Halo since Bungie stopped developing Halo. It's
you got to give
insane.
them credit. They made Master Chief Collection good after like 10 years.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
They
got
give
there.
them time. It.
They fucking rolled that fucker across the finish line.
I will forever. I know this is not talking about the same topic anymore, but I will forever go to bat for Infinite when it comes to like the campaign and stuff. I know why people had an issue with the multiplayer. I didn't dive into that as much as I would have when I was younger. But I really, really enjoyed the actual campaign of Infinite, so I will stand by that. That was a very solid experience.
Yeah.
But
I'm with you.
Again, if you're taking the whole
ride or
package
die
and you're including
for
the
their
multiplayer, then yeah.
My first like 4 months of Halo before we realized that they front loaded all of the content they had for it was so unfucking believably positive. Like they did the shadow drop of the multiplayer like weeks early. And we could all just like hop in and play New Halo, and New Halo was good and it functioned well. Like that shit was so awesome. And then the campaign dropped, and the campaign, even though it's missing some like co-op and shit, it's got a really nice fucking vibe to it. You're jetpacking around and you're bungee, what are you, ziplining. Just really cool stuff in that game. But then
it's got to be like the
just nothing
saddest
more.
story of live service failure of something that came out and it was fantastic. The gameplay was like everything you could dream of, and then it just didn't have anything to play.
Sure.
And got abandoned, and now it's considered like a terrible game because it didn't follow up with content, but everything else was great.
Sucks.
Kind of like Avengers.
Brother.
You're so right.
I kind of slyly moved around. Big Freakin' sent in a chat about Black Mesa that I want to read real fast. It's long, but it's good. He says, "Oh, why can't did my mouse just die? No, it didn't. I can't scroll. Why can't I? Can one of you read this chat? Can you see it? I can't scroll up and see it.
I know
here
Black
we go.
Mesa is likely not going to get much traction here, and that's totally fine. I just want to give extra context for why it's cool. It started as a free fan-made mod in 2012-ish. The team eventually formed into a real studio called Crowbar Collective and released it as a paid game onto Steam with Valve's blessing, which doesn't happen too often. They also expanded the final chapter of the game called Zen and added a bunch of content to it. Even in Valve's eyes, Zen was kind of scuffed, which I do remember being the case.
Yeah, which is very cool. And I think like Half-Life 1 being kind of like unplayable in a real way, and now there is a version that Valve basically let happen with a bunch of people that aren't at Valve, I think is a pretty cool thing. So threw that in the middle of the list. It's a game that I've like fucked around in before, but I've never finished it, but I want to at some point do like all of the Half-Lives back to back again. And you know, if we ever get Half-Life 3 before that, for sure. And then I gotta borrow High Score Weekly's Valve Index so I can play Alex, because I never have. And I really want to. This list feels good to me though. Do we any last minute changes that we feel on either side?
Not that I'm gonna go to bat for, no.
Yeah.
Read
So
that list
essentially-
down for our
yeah.
audio listeners.
So on the remaster side, we have from the top to the bottom: Metroid Prime Remastered, Shadow of the Colossus, Crash Insane Trilogy, Spyro Reignited, Dead Space, Mass Effect Legendary Edition, Control, Sonic Adventure 2 Battle, Super Mario All Stars on the SNES, not the 3D All Stars. Destroy All Humans, Deus Ex, Human Revolution. Yep,
Sorry.
it was like HR, not
The Human Resources Director's Cut goes hard.
and Bully. And then on the remake side, from the top to the bottom, Resident Evil 2, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4, Wind Waker HD, Resident Evil 4, Halo, CE Anniversary, Heart Gold, Soul Silver, Persona 3 Reload, Ocarina 3DS version, Ratchet and Clank 2016, Metroid 2, Samus Returns, Black Mesa, Mafia, Metal Gear Solid, Delta, Snake Eater, Fable Anniversary, Majora's Mask 3DS, Pokemon Let's Go, Nier Replicant, and Link's Awakening. Feels pretty good to me.
You know what else it feels,
And that
Patrick?
is science.
Exactly.
Exactly, right?
I was going to say it feels scientific, but you read my mind. So
Exactly. I'm a mind reader. You can call me Professor Schwussy. Blaster Goblin, thank you so much for bringing your expertise on the subject of remakes and remasters. You really do know more than anybody I've ever met about.
Sure.
This
I wasn't
category.
panicking over here trying to find some examples.
Nah,
Very
you did
visually
great.
throughout the whole show.
You did great. If this is your first episode, this has been Drop In Drop Out. You can go to dropindropoutpod.com to get all of the things we're doing in the Drop In Drop Out sphere, like such as Mondays over on JK Games. They just finished Life is Strange Reunion and are going to be getting into some more shenanigans later in the coming weeks. But first, they're doing an OG episode of JK Games on Monday. On Tuesday, I plugged it at the top of the show. It is happening, folks. The CEO, Lindsay Barnett of Backyard Sports, coming on the podcast, Spotlight Games, Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. We're going to do a little interview, and we're going to, if all goes according to plan, we're going to do a little interview chatting, and then we're going to play the demo live on air for you. So that is very exciting. And then Replaced Review. Go give it a listen on podcast services. Very exciting, as I said at the top as well. You know, we'll take the click on YouTube, but the best version is in the podcast feed. Tamagotchi Life over on Jake Twitchin's Islands. If you love consensual non-consent, you know where to go. That's twitch.tv/Jake Twitchin. I think that's about everything I can plug before this is just an advertisement to end our show. But thank you so much again, Blaster Goblin, for being here. Everybody in the chat, we love you. We thank you. And we will see you on the next one. Let's wave at the camera and say goodbye.
Bye.